We are all wrong about cryptocurrency, and it took me 8 years to learn this that over the course of time, many cryptocurrencies go to zero, and less than 40 cryptocurrencies in the last year have outperformed Bitcoin if we're just looking at the year chart. And if we look at other VCs in the space, prominent ones like Coinbase Ventures, a tier 1 VC, we can see that most of their investments are also not positive. So what hope do we have as retail investors when even Coinbase's portfolio goes down 90%? So that's what we're going to go over in this video. I'm going to share all the different things you should know if you are going to invest in crypto and where the opportunities are, because if we know most coins are going to zero, well, let's short it. That's how we're going to make money, shorting over a long period of time just because we know where that trend goes. All right, if that sounds good, I'm Dan, and I'm going to share my financial opinions on the market and things I've learned after being in crypto for 8 years. And not rich, definitely not rich, definitely less money than I had a year ago. And it took me a long time to learn this. So stick around and we're going to learn some things. Number one, the first mistake I made in crypto was believing that you can find a coin with good tokenomics, with a good team, with good sentiment around it, and you hold that for a long time, and it will just go up forever. That is not the reality. The reality is people want to make money in crypto, including VCs, developers, market makers, marketing. So they're going to do what they can do to make sure they make money. And in that process, maybe you lose some money. So that is just one of the things that happens. Now, there are projects where I believe that the team and everyone is very sincere about what they're building, but there's just no demand for it. There's just no use case. Maybe it's too early. Basically, they opened a crappy coffee shop next to a Starbucks. I know Starbucks is very controversial apparently, but I'm just trying to say that they're opening up a business where there just isn't enough demand for it. And when you open up a business, there are expenses, there are costs, and the team has to sell because they have to fund those costs. They have to pay for developers, they have to pay for other services. So there are things like that we have to consider beyond the scope of hold token goes up over a long period of time. And another thing I learned, just because a cryptocurrency has a low market cap doesn't mean it's an opportunity. For a while, I kind of got addicted to the idea of finding a low cap gem and holding that. But the reality is when you have these small market cap coins, it's very hard for them to get attention. It's very hard for them to build communities. It's very hard to drive demand. Now, I still have some that I believe in, but it just doesn't work. Yeah, we have to look at what's in our portfolio, what has worked, what hasn't worked, and we have to learn from it. So as investors in cryptocurrency and in life, we have to continually learn, and that involves learning from our own mistakes. Now, personally, I used to believe in tokenomics, different reasons, different experiences, and I still do for a small part, but after learning so much about crypto, after doing so much different research, I learned it's very difficult to pick a winner, but it's very easy to pick the losers. So those are the things I want to focus on. If I can lock in 50% a year or more from shorting cryptocurrencies, I'm going to do that. Now, my latest strategy has been using BitGet. I have Twitter notifications set for whenever they post. And if they launch a new futures market, I'm in. I want to short that coin first. I want to be the first one in there. Now, I'm going to have another tutorial video. If you're interested, let me know in the comments and engage with this video if you can. And I'll make a tutorial on this. So they had a new listing very recently, Prompt. It's AI agents and stuff. I thought it was overvalued because they had massive airdrops. They had a lot of KOL airdrops because hey, if you're talking about this coin, you're hyping it up, you're helping it get attention. And when you have all the sell pressure from KOLs that got involved with it, from people who were farming it for the airdrop, the price is going to go down. So shorting it is the right idea. And that's why I was able to short it upon launch, and then they pumped back up. So you're going to want some stop losses once you're in profit. These are things you want to watch if you're using a lot of leverage. But if you're only trading at something like 1x, 2x leverage, it's a lot safer, and over a long period of time, That can add up. That can add up because we know where these things trend. There's just not enough new users coming into crypto that create the demand for new cryptocurrencies to speculate in, and everyone wants to exit. So these are even the team members, VCs, KOLs, not me most of the time because I don't get any deals and I won't anymore because I'm talking about this, but I'm okay with that because the real money in crypto comes from shorting. So that's what we have to continue to consider. And we're going to look at some other ideas too, because you have to remember if you are airdropping people and there is no natural demand for whatever you're building, well, that's gonna dump. That's gonna dump pretty quickly. So that's why we have to think who's dumping? Who's going to dump this coin? And you also have to remember, you can't short every cryptocurrency. If there's a new meme coin, there might not be a market for shorting it. And I think shorting meme coins is pretty dangerous because that can be very volatile. One of the surest things you can do, though, is short something where you know there's a lot of people that want to exit. Those are people that got the coin early at little to no cost. That could be VCs who invested in their seed rounds. That could be people that got the airdrops. That could be team members who have locked tokens but are still earning incredibly high staking rewards. So these are all things to consider. Are people making an exit? Because we know that there are too many cryptocurrencies with not enough demand, and a lot of things look the same. So that's another thing I look at. Is this project the same as other projects? Because if a cryptocurrency has a lot of competitors, like a layer 2 blockchain where there are over 150 of them and actually more that aren't being tracked, well, what hope is there for any of these to succeed? That's it. Yeah, there's probably no hope because there's too many blockchains and not enough users, not enough builders, so it doesn't make sense to have all of these. Now, I wanted to start a case study of shorting cryptocurrencies, so I did a $1,000 1x short on multiple cryptocurrencies that I just opened, and you can follow what's happening in the weekly live streams. Right now, we're up. So I found a day when crypto pumped because of the markets, but long term, I believe these are going to go down over time. Don't come after me if you're shorting this. I have reasons of why I'm shorting that in the next video of top 5 coins I'm shorting and why. So be sure to watch that. And you can see that after a day, it's up over 10% already, which is pretty good. Actually, no, that's 10% divided by 4, so that's up 2%. So be sure to follow along to see what happens. Now, the point of this video is to share that everyone is wrong. We have to think of what happens long term, where the demand comes from, if there's going to be any demand for that cryptocurrency, and who's trying to exit. I like CryptoRank.io. This is not an endorsement, but I'm just saying you can use them for free to see all the different funds that are investing in crypto and how they've been performing. Because you can sort by retail ROI, which is the ROA calculated based on the IDO, IEO, or ICO. And to translate that, that's basically when retail users can begin investing in those projects. So we want to look for a VC that has invested in a lot of things where users have not made any money. So Ryan Selkis is kind of the top tier 3 VC to watch for shorting coins if those coins are available to short. But let's look for something with a lot of investments under their portfolio. We're just going to keep going here. There's going to be a lot of tier 4, tier 3 VCs. Draper Associates. Oh man. Here we go. 135. Magnus Capital. So you can see most people lose at least 95%. Let's look at their portfolio, and we are going to sort by 1 year gain and losses. So at best, something could have performed minus 60%, whereas many others are either not available or down close to 99%. So these are things to consider, but when you have coins that have a market cap of less than $1 million, maybe even a couple $1,000s, that coin will very likely not be available to short. Now, the easiest thing I found, again, to mention this, is to short new coin listings on BitGet, since BitGet is like a tier 1 and 2 exchange where, maybe they're not Binance or Coinbase, they can take more risks, and most of the coins, when they launch, you kind of see what happens, that they take a huge dip at first because, they have that massive sell-off. Then you have market makers buying the dip so they can liquidate the short. So for myself, I shorted, set some stop losses, got stopped, shorting again. I'm just going to continue to short long term, and that's my plan for cryptocurrency moving forward, unless we get into a bull market where everything just starts pumping. But I don't really see that happening. There just hasn't been enough demand for an alt season to happen, so something to consider, and follow along to see what happens if I lose even more money in cryptocurrency trying to short everything. So if this video has been helpful, you know what to do. I'm going to leave some links in the description because I'm going to shill referral links because I think it is an opportunity, and I'm going to make sure you get your full value. All right, with that, that's it. All right, bye.